Every musician has a pet peeve, kind of a button if you push it, it makes their blood boil. And for me, it's if I'm on a gig and someone from the audience wants to get on stage, wants to get on the mic, wants to mess with your equipment. Those things just, for some reason, it just makes me boil over with rage. I could go on about it, but more or less, to me, it signifies a lack of respect for the musicians and for the effort we put into our craft, and also a lack of respect for the audience, for the people who have paid to come see the musicians play. It's kind of like if you're going to a professional sporting event and someone from the stands decides they want to hop in the game and play. You don't want to see that. But I digress. I had recent experience with that, which is a really big learning opportunity that I think is great for other musicians. I was on a gig and I was at a venue that has a window. So this is like in the summertime. So that window was open, the drums are right by it, and it's kind of right by the sidewalk. And there's a pretty busy thoroughfare. And while I was setting up, there was someone who I thought was maybe drunk, maybe homeless, maybe both. And they were just kind of reaching in the window and rummaging through the area where my gear was being set up and saying, "I lost my cigarettes, have you seen my cigarettes?" And this person's cigarettes were the last of my concerns. I was there to play a gig. And this person kept on saying, "I had them here a minute ago and it was a full pack, what happened to them?" And I was just trying to ignore them because I had to play a gig, I had to get set up. And even through the first few songs, this person kept coming back and being a distraction, so much that it was really interfering with the gig. And one thing I really like to do, and I'm not saying this in a bragging way, it's actually not the best quality, but if someone hops on stage while I'm playing, I will read them the riot act. I will tell them, "Hey, I don't come to your job and fuss around your cubicle while you're working. Please don't come to mine." Or I'll say something probably a little bit more colorful than that. And I almost did, but then something in the back of my mind, I recalled a really good story that a great musician friend of mine told me. And they told me that they were on a gig, and one time someone from the audience hopped up on stage, was playing a tambourine, was singing into the mic, just screwing up the rotation, making everyone look bad. And I recall as this musician was telling me a story, I'd be like, "So you, of course, yelled at them or threw a cymbal at them, right?" And this musician said, "No, I just kept it moving, you know. I didn't want to worry about it." And the kicker is that at the end of the night, this musician found out that that person who was hopping on stage, getting all drunk and wild, was actually the owner of the venue. And that owner of the venue gave them a raise at the end of the night. And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay. Huh." And I actually thought about that thing because I remember when he was telling me that story, I was thinking if someone hopped up on stage while I was playing and did that, they would have a cymbal thrown at them. So that kind of popped in the corner of my head while this person was being a distraction. And I just kind of bit my tongue and I kept things moving along. Well, lo and behold, I found out that, oh, that person who was rummaging through my stuff was the venue owner. And it was actually at the same venue. And it just, I didn't find out till later. So here's the key takeaway and the key learning. If you have a reason to read someone the riot act, to dress somebody down, to yell at somebody, think about what good is it going to do. And I thought about what would happen if I yelled at that person in that moment who was on stage rummaging through stuff. It would have been more for my ego and to satiate that and to feel, righteous than to actually fix the situation. And maybe it would have rectified the situation, or maybe it would have made it worse. But the thing is, I just chose not to engage because I got to keep it moving. I got other things to worry about. And this friend of mine who told me this story is also a friend this friend is further along in their musical career than me. And they are a great musician, but they're also a great person. And one thing I recall them telling me multiple times is saying they like to put out positive energy into the world and try not to be, for lack of better terms, be a dick to other people. Even if you have a reason to be a dick to somebody. And that's something I've been trying to live by lately. And when I'm pressured into doing that, when I'm kind of backed into a corner, I really have to think about that and say, okay, is it going to benefit me in my career to yell at someone, even if they deserve a little bit of a tongue lashing? And 9 times out of 10, no. Because what I'm trying to achieve, where I'm going, I really want to climb up the ladder and climb up the ranks and get to bigger stages and bigger opportunities. And one way to get to those bigger opportunities in those stages is you have to invest a finite resource. And that finite resource is your time and your energy. So, am I going to waste my valuable resource of time and energy worrying about stuff that is kind of like down here? No, it's irrelevant. It's not going to make or break my career. Just like if I would have yelled at that person, it probably would have been embarrassing and probably wouldn't have been a good look for the band, but I still would have had gigs after that. It just wouldn't have been a good situation. And I think over time, really putting out that positive energy into the world and also choosing where you invest that time and energy, that really pays dividends in the long run. So if you're watching this and you like these tips, like, follow, subscribe, comment. If you agree, disagree, put it right down there. One thing I really like to make this channel about is not about me talking or preaching, but saying, here's some of my experience I'm going to share with you. Let me know what you think about it, because it's really a conversation. And I love conversing with everyone out there. So thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Keep it positive out there. See you next time.